have passed the hour of 7 o'clock. We'll call this meeting to order. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Item 2C, preview approval of the agenda. Chair will entertain a motion.
I did too. Wow.
Move to approve the agenda as presented.
Second.
A motion and second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion passes. Item 3, consent agenda. Chair will entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Move to approve the consent agenda as presented.
Second.
Motion and second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion passes. Item 4, audience delegations. None. Item 5, there is no old business. Item 6A, the 2023-24 audit report. We have a new face.
We do. We have Brian here to share with us. We're sure so glad that he's here, and it's been very helpful for us. Deb, do you have anything you want to say before we get started?
No, it was a very smooth process and worked well together, so good.
I'm Brian Eckhoff with West Working Company. We're going to do a brief overview of the financial statements. If you have questions as we're going through it, don't hesitate to stop me, and we'll just go through it. So, as you can see on the screen, that's the independent auditor's report, and the red circle says presented fairly. So this is a clean audit opinion or a good audit report, so exactly what you want to see in your audited financial statements. This is a statement of activities. It's kind of a different financial statement because you have your expenditures down the left-hand side, offset with revenues through the middle of the page to show a net cost of doing business down the right-hand side. Our red box kind of has shifted up a little bit. Normally we highlight food service and community services. 99% of school districts lose money on food service. It's just a matter of how much. This year the loss was about $37,000, so that's pretty close to break even when you're looking at $1 million worth of food service expenditures. And then your community services was about $291, and that's your before and after care, preschool, things like that. The next slide will be your balance sheet. You can see as of June 30th, we had about 20 million, almost 20 million, 19.6 million between the three funds. Special revenue fund is your teacher's fund. Common practice in school districts is to take that to a zero balance as of June 30th. So 13 million in general fund, 4.1 in debt service, and 2.4 in capital projects. And at the bottom of the page, you can see the various fund balances, and the next slide is actually going to tell you what all those were. The debt service is always restricted for debt service that can't be spent on anything else. Your general fund, food service balance as assigned, that is the revenue that you have received on food service. During COVID, everyone was free and we were making money on food service. DESE requires you to track that, and as you lose money on food service, that balance will start to dwindle and eventually go away. And then you also have student activities of $404,000. That's your clubs, organizations, things like that, their balances. And then your general fund, $12,175,000. That is your day-to-day operations unassigned balance. Capital projects fund, that balance is always shown as assigned for future capital projects because you can't use it on anything else. This is a statement of revenues and expenditures. You can see we had 38 million in revenues, 35 million in expenditures, so an increase in fund balance of a little over $3 million, so a good fiscal year financially for the district. General fund increased 2.1 million, went from 10.9 to 13, so a good year financially. This is a summary of your debt. The bond started the year at 28.9 million, paid down 2.4, and we ended at 26.4. And your direct borrowings were 204,000, paid down 48, and ended with 155. The next slide is going to show you all of the payments on those bonds through 2040. No balloon payments or anything like that, just your standard annual payments, nothing out of the ordinary. The next slide is your direct borrowings. We have 3 more years on direct borrowings, and then those will be paid off, just normal annual payments. This is a 5-year comparison of your revenues. If you look at the fourth chart over, you can see the federal, that's federal, and you can see the spike from the COVID dollars right there in the middle. And then if you kind of see your state has kind of stayed relatively flat, So your revenues are actually increasing due to local dollars, and you can see that in the first chart. The local dollars have continued to increase. This is a 5-year comparison of your expenditures. If you look at the chart, it's very misleading. It looks like your salaries and benefits have decreased. Not the case. It's just that your salaries and benefits are increasing at a slower rate than your purchase services. So your purchase services have continued to increase while your salaries and benefits have kind of slowly increased. So if you look, your salaries went from 15 million to 15.2, almost 15.3. So they are increasing, they're just not increasing as fast as your other expenditures are. So this is a 5-year comparison of your reserve ratio and your average daily attendance. Our reserve ratio was 43%. We consider this a healthy, financially stable school district. And your average daily attendance was 1945. As you can see on the chart on the bottom, it has kind of steadily declined for a couple of years, so definitely something you want to keep an eye on going forward with the majority of your revenues being driven by attendance. While we're here, we look at Missouri laws and regulations. If we note anything, we bring it to your attention, and you can see here it says it was fairly stated, so this is another clean opinion or good audit report on the state side as well. Exactly what you want to see. We use internal control, we do risk assessment. We don't give an opinion on internal control, but if we document anything while we're doing internal control work, we bring it to your attention. And we had one item that we have on internal control that you guys have been hearing about for years.
Always.
And it never changes, so I'll be the broken record and tell you again. If somebody new, you'll hear it from me instead of from Mandy. So, next slide will be the federal programs. You expend more than $750,000 of federal expenditures, so you're required to have a uniform guidance audit, also known as a single audit or a federal audit. So while we're doing that, if we have anything that we come across, we bring it to your attention. And in this paragraph, it says that we did not have any deficiencies. So that's another clean report on the federal side. The next slide is actually going to give you the results of that. Unmodified means clean opinion, so that's a good report. No, all the way down on the right-hand side is the no findings. The first one that is marked yes is that wonderful segregation of duties comment that we always talk about. Towards the bottom, you can see the 2 clusters that we did our testing. It was the child nutrition cluster and the special education cluster. So that's where we spent the majority of our time doing our testing to make sure they're allowable expenditures. And then the very bottom, did you qualify as low risk? When they wrote uniform guidance, they wrote it for accrual basis financial statements. 99% of the school districts in the state of Missouri are cash basis financial statements, so you will never qualify as a low risk auditee. Do not change to accrual basis financial statements, stay cash basis. Just know that we're required to audit a higher percentage of your federal programs because of it. So, and then this is that wonderful broken record segregation of duties comment that you guys have been hearing about for years. So all in all, a good year for the district. One minor internal control item that we bring to your attention every year, but other than that, it was a good year. So we appreciate everything. We appreciate all the hard work from you and your staff, and it was seamless on our end. Mandy switched out and I came in, and we just kept on rolling. So
I just had a couple questions.
fire away.
All right, on page 23, when you talk about our lease agreements for the copy machines through December, well, actually next month, 12/24, then it says through 2029, and I guess I was confused about that because we haven't, have we decided to go through 2029? Because it says it'll be up in next month.
For our copy machine?
Yes, that's what it said.
Yes, we did an extension.
I was thinking we just did one.
Yeah.
Did we? Okay, well, I didn't remember.
Yeah.
That's fine. Never mind, not for you.
Okay.
My other question was on page 39. It talked about ineligible miles.
Mm-hmm.
Can you explain that to me?
So that is wording from DESI. So your eligible miles are your actual bus routes before and after school.
Right.
Your ineligible miles would be summer school miles, activity trips, things like that.
Okay.
I wish they changed the wording on that, because when it's ineligible, it sounds
Yeah,
like
it
it's
sounds
stuff
like
you
they're
can't
driving
do.
around to
Yes.
the casino or something.
Exactly.
Okay.
But it's their classification, but the majority of that is your activity trips.
Okay.
So.
And then, last but not least, I just want to read this paragraph because I think it's very important. I would like to point it out.
Okay.
It says, in conclusion, the Harrisonville Cathar 9 School District has committed itself to financial and educational excellence. The school district is in excellent financial health and plans to continue its sound fiscal management to meet the challenges of the future while striving to provide quality program, empowering its students with the essential tools to achieve at high levels. I love that, and I love that it's in a report. It just speaks volumes to what our district is about, and I love that it's in a financial report. I think it's great.
Other questions? Guess you're done, Brian.
Perfect. Thank you very much. Have a good evening.
Thank you.
Thanks, Brian.
Chair would entertain a motion to approve the audit.
I move to approve the 2023-24 audit as presented.
Second.
Motion second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. Item 6B, superintendent update.
Well, I would be remiss to say that this is not because of our wonderful guidance and support from Deb Avey, but they come in and they know what they're gonna get from her, and they know the hard work that she puts into this, and I can't thank you enough for all of your work.
Yeah, no problem.
Thank you.
Prep ahead of time makes for a smooth audit.
You do a great job of prepping. All right, so a few things, enrollment. One of the things that Susan and I are spending quite a bit of time on right now is trying to look at discrepancies in our enrollment. At the beginning of the year, we were up, but as we kind of roll into this, we're looking at our enrollment now down about 15 to 18 kids, so we're in a up and down cycle. We thought we were kind of neutral, and we're seeing a little bit of that slide as we start to go through our new SIS system. We have students that have rolled over, but they don't have any schedules, and they're not there, but they're in our system, so we're trying to purge the ones that may have been in there somehow. We're never counted on our September count, which is what goes to the state, but in our data that we can pull from the SIS, it was skewed on some of that data. So we're getting that more squared away, hopefully at our board retreat on December 16th. I'll have a better, clearer picture for you about where we're at with regards to our enrollment. Again, like I said, we do have our retreat on December 16th. I'm looking forward to that. That'll be a great day of work and time focused on what we're doing here in the district to support our students. Cass County Legislative, you know how we used to have like I've been here forever. We had our breakfast with the legislators last year, and it was during a snow day. And the problem is that we only get the 2 or 3 that really want to be there. We don't really get everybody. So the Cass County superintendents, we talked to the other day, and we would like to find some time, maybe in February or March, where as superintendents and those board members that want to, will go to the Capitol and go around and visit our legislators that impact our school district as a better way, because we invite those that want to come with all of our representatives, and we only get a few, and we'd really like to make sure at least we have a voice with all of those that don't attend as well. So I'll keep you updated on that, just so that you guys are able to schedule that if it works for your schedule as well. Senate Bill 190, we just received on Friday. All of the Cass County residents that are located within our Harrisonville School District that have signed up for the Senate Bill 190, which is the tax freeze. And so we are going through that piece. And this is, I know Deb had this, and maybe Deb, if you have this in some of your documentation, but basically the piece that we wanted to do was to figure out how many people that there were, and then how much of our assessed valuation that amount comes to. So we have all of this assessed valuation, we have this personal property and some farm property from those that have signed up, and then how much does that equal with regards to our assessed valuation? And I believe when we talked about,
44 million.
it comes to about 44 million, which was 19% of our assessed valuation. When that starts to be frozen, that is going to be a big chunk of our property tax income that we have for our local based on our tax levy. So again, how is that really going to impact us? We can't predict everything that's going to happen, but for right now, just for your information, it's about $44 million of, remember how many people it was?
Oh, I don't know if I-
2,100.
It was quite a few,
Um,
more than I expected.
Now, is that just in our district?
Just in our district,
Okay.
yes. And so with that being about 19% of our assessed valuation, that is a big chunk, but it's something that we will continue to do the numbers with so that we can figure out when those start to be frozen, what are we not going to see with regards to increase in income from that. But we'll keep you up to date, but I want you to know we just got those preliminary data pieces on Friday. And last thing from me, I was hoping to be able to share with everybody some really great news. I can share our news with regards to our APR, but everything else is embargoed where you can't share it with everybody. And so it was November 14th when it was embargoed too, and now it's embargoed till next Monday. But I want to tell everybody that our APR went up over 5.5%, which was a really great testament to the work that everybody's doing in our district. Our teachers are working so hard to be focused on individual students and their growth. We're very excited. I will also kind of hint that I feel like we may have done a great job within our conference as well. But I'm not really sure, but and when it comes out on Monday, we'll have another opportunity to hopefully share with the world the great work that's going on here in Harrisonville, because we sure are proud of the work that's being done here. So. All right, and next we have Miss Jill Filer, who's coming up to share with some What's Great.
So I'm going to start with our friends that are here, and so I'll introduce Miss Doherty, and you can talk to them about who's here and what you did.
So I brought Kyson Schleen and Benjamin Gensel and Miss Lee, who is one of our peers in their room. And so we tell them about
Yes.
Okay. So every 2 weeks in my classroom, I run what we call the SEAL room at Harrisonville Elementary, which is social, emotional, autism, language. So it's a lot of our kids with autism, but it's also some of our kids that have some language delays and some big behaviors. But every 2 weeks, we have like a theme that lasts 2 weeks. And earlier in the year, in September, we did a space theme. And so our social skills those 2 weeks were using manners and taking turns and being polite. And so for our social skills unit, we decided to come up with a pretend space restaurant. And the kids did so well with it. Each of them had we had different jobs, and they all got to take turns practicing for the jobs, and they were doing such a great job with it, we decided to have real people come to our pretend play restaurant. And so we invited some staff members from around the district to come, and they all served them our pretend play food, and they did amazing. We had a chef, Mr. Tommy was our chef, Felicity was one of our servers, Kyson was our waiter, we had Bentley, who was our host, and then Hank was a server, and then Ben, he left before we took this picture, he was also one of our waiters. So we all kind of got to take turns doing those jobs, and then we had some adults from the building come in, and they just had a really great time with it. Everybody left with smiles and full hearts, and the kids just did amazing. These kids have come a really, really long way. Over the last year. This is the second year of our program, and kind of seeing them do this was really cool. Because they just did such a great job, and I'm really proud of them.
Awesome.
So there's some pictures there of it, but they did a great job, and these two were able to come and just kind of talk about it. Did you guys want to say anything about our restaurant? Did you have fun with it?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
You got to take orders?
Yeah.
Yeah, and they wrote them down. It was awesome. So,
What was your favorite food at your restaurant?
do you remember what some of the food was?
Do you remember?
I think Ben liked the Orbit balls, right? The little candy Orbit balls. And you liked the Alienade.
What
And
color was that?
green. And was it the space cinnamon roll? Is that what it was called, Miss Lee? There was like a cinnamon roll. I think it was a space cinnamon roll.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah, and there's a galaxy cookie you really liked too. So it was really fun, and they all had a great time taking turns and using their
I will tell you
banners.
before you look at
So,
I will tell you guys, we were in Sarah's class the other day. Gosh, what an amazing room.
yeah. If you ever want to, if you ever want to know some smiles, come there.
And you can see how she's trying to deflect from all of the work that she does and her team does, but they are absolutely exceptional at working with our students and giving them what they need to be the best that they can be. So we appreciate you.
And they're great little humans, so it makes and I've got a great team that works with me too, so I couldn't do it without them. But just kind of some of those real world things. And next year, we're gonna try to add prices and money into it. So we'll see how that goes. I don't know. I should build it great. I don't know about me. I know.
Can I take a picture of you guys?
Sure.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, we're gonna go over here to where you took a picture before.
Does somebody else want to join me?
Okay. Go ahead. Can you stand up for me? Stand up. We're gonna have some friends come over and take a picture with you. Is that okay?
Yeah.
This is Miss Jenny. Hi. Miss Emily. All right, they're gonna. Oh, Miss Jenny.
Make me a dummy.
I know. He's like, oh, thanks a lot. All right. Okay, here we go. All right. Smile, you guys. Look this way. Good job. Good Okay, that's fine. Hey, you gonna go? Bye, guys. Good job.
I will be there. I don't miss too.
Good job, Julie. And then we have multiple recognitions tonight. So before she comes up, I want to show this video because it's more fun. And I want you to harken back to what happened last year. She won. But if you don't recall, she
now is she's just got the straightaway to go.
Watch what she does when she gets the visual logo.
The finished stretch run for Kaylee Norris, the senior out of Harrisonville, a second win in a row in the Class 4 Girls Championship.
Oh, no.
We got over here.
Okay. Oh, no.
Norris will be right around 18 and a half. That's not bad for the day.
Saw it. She on waved.
What did she do?
She waved as she went past that logo because it reached up and grabbed her last year.
Oh.
And she still won, but it reached up and grabbed her. So this time she waved and she went by. So I thought that video was pretty awesome. So, oh, here it comes again.
Your Class 4 champion.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, good
So,
job.
and no one. Did you see also no one?
No one.
No one.
58 seconds.
Coach Gibbs. I'll let Coach Gibbs tell you everything. So Coach Gibbs and Kaylee, you want to come up? Yep. Yeah.
Jill asked me to come say a few words, and I was a little confused when she said that because I'm like, that's kind of an oxymoron. Coach Gibbs and few words say the same thing, but I got a script, so I'll try to stay on course here as much as possible. As I go, I'm going to go through some of her career accomplishments, and one of the things I want you to think about as I go through this is the fact that Kaylee didn't run her freshman year, and she was only part-time her sophomore year. She was tennis, and then she would come help us on the side. So she actually only participated in about 27 of a possible 48 races that somebody could run in their career. So just think about that as I go through this, because you could almost double these numbers as we go through. Kaylee was academic all-conference 3 times. She was academic all-state 3 times. She was a 2-time conference champion. She was a 3-time District 4 champion. She was the Missouri Class 4 state champion twice. She won 27 medals in her 27 races. She finished top 10, 25 out of the 27 times, top 5, 23 of the top, or out of the 27 times. She won 17 championships in her career, and again, especially those last 2 years, she was running in like what I call national level races, a lot of them. She's not winning, you know, the Drexel Invitational, or not to take any shots at any other school. She's in big races. She's running against hundreds of people. Just some kind of fun stories on her. Kaylee Harp, who was, I thought was going to be my greatest Kaylee runner, my greatest girls runner, just had a great career at Northwest Missouri State. She ran 1 time under 20 minutes. She, in her final race, ran 19:33. And when she did that, I thought, okay, that's going to be a school record for a long time. Kaylee ran under 1933, 22 of her 27 races, and set her, I do think this one will stick for a while. The school record is now 17:35, so she beat that by a couple of minutes. This is a fun, and again, kind of getting into just her personality. She was running against a girl from Smithville named Naomi Hunter at Districts, and so they were the number Mo Mile split. You can go see all of the times. They're the number 1 and number 2 most of the year in the entire state, all classes. And so they happen to be matched up against each other in the district. And I was talking to Kaylee, and I'm going, kind of hardcore old school with her, and I know that's how she's wired. And I was like, Kaylee, I don't think this girl's even, she's not in the same league as you. And I said, if you can come out, because I thought she'd beat her by 30, 45 seconds, something like that. I go, because you're going to race her this week, and then you're going to race the big races next week at state. But I'm like, if you can come out and beat her by like 45 seconds, I go, she doesn't know right now if she can run with you. And I go, that psychologically is going to demoralize her. And it sounds hardcore, but it's just part of being competitive. And it was funny because Kaylee's eyes were like little intense slits, and she said, that's what I'm going to do. All right. I just kind of walked away, and I was like, that girl's in a lot of trouble. And she beat her at Districts by 1:39 seconds. I finished second. Impressive stuff. She was the first girl to win state 2 years in a row in Class 4 in 10 years. She won state by 52 seconds and just terrible conditions. If you can think about the rain, not last weekend, but the weekend before, it rained and rained and rained in Columbia, and then you had 150 kids run on that over and over again, 10 different races at all the different classes, and so she got race number 9. So by that point, she's running in mud, basically. That margin is the largest in Class 4 in a championship race since 2009. Do you have any guess who that might have been?
Her sister, I suppose.
No. Emily Sisson. Emily Sisson is one of the most famous, definitely as a girls runner from Missouri, but she has a number of amazing accomplishments. She's the record holder right now in North America for the marathon, and she just finished 23rd at Paris in the marathon this year at age 33. And so that's pretty good company. That's kind of cool. All those are impressive, but let me tell you what's most impressive to me beyond her talent, beyond her drive, beyond her discipline. She is qualified again this year for the Gatorade Missouri Runner of the Year, and this is just what I submitted to them, kind of talking about Kaylee, to try to get beyond the talent. I think that's important for people to see, because you just look and you're like, oh, she's so awesome, she's so fast. I'm like, yeah, that's a lot to that. And so this is what I wrote. I said, Kaylee is simply a kid where the hype may seem too good to be real, but it's real. Her success and constant dominance over the last 2 years since she committed full-time to cross country is well documented. Whether you choose the metric of time or race results, she's been the unquestioned best runner in the state in 2024. Her self-discipline and commitment to her craft is outstanding and rubs off in other aspects of her life. She's a great student in the classroom and a great young lady in general. I probably most appreciate how she's able to have supreme confidence in herself and in her abilities but be so humble in how she conducts herself and approaches others. I consider this the ultimate measure of a top-level athlete. To be able to walk into competition with supreme confidence in your training and your abilities, and then walk away and be gracious and humble. She's the type of individual where it's very easy to see her just disappear into a room of kids or teammates, and you never know that right in front of you is the fastest girl in the state of Missouri. I'm so excited for her future in running, but also the successes she will be part of and other future endeavors. She's left a tremendous legacy at Harrisonville and will continue to represent our community well as an ambassador as she moves forward to the next level. Let's hear it for Kaylee Norris and her
Kaylee, you want to tell them about your future plans?
Yeah, so I'm committed to run at the University of Alabama, so I'll run cross country and track there.
And who you brought with you? You need to introduce your parents.
Yeah. Mom, Dad, they've been there for me, for everything, you know. They go on the long runs with me, on the bikes, so. It's pretty nice.
It's not punishment, we're trying to support.
Just trying to keep up.
We can't keep up unless we're on a bike.
Yeah.
We're proud of you.
Congratulations.
Very, very good.
Awesome.
Can we get a picture?
Yes, picture. Who's coming? Okay.
Coach, thank you for being there with her too. Appreciate that.
Coach gave you guys in the too. That's why.
Put away my glasses.
Okay. Thanks.
Kaylee, wasn't KU your second? No.
Hey, she gets an education too, y'all.
You don't even have to lie, Kaylee. Just be like, eh.
Just throw out a roll tide.
Thank you guys so much.
And then my two quick shares is that CCC is always a busy place, but it's been a busy place with our own kids lately. We've had a couple of different field trip or visits to CCC. Earlier it was the middle school students, and they got to, in the career explorations classes they go over when they have that class with Mrs. Deering. They visit 3 different programs and spend some time in those programs. So that's a few of the pictures. And then our kindergartners went over for a field trip to CCC, which was super fun. And one of the pictures I want to point out is the construction one, because this is Miss Cecil's class, and that's Miss Cecil's son who's doing the presentation. So I thought that was a cute catch in the photo. And then to remind you that Thursday is the Casper Center's open house, so that you can visit as well. I know a lot of you were there for our walkthrough, but anyway, their open house, let people know about that, is Thursday from 4 to 7. And then over the last few weeks, we've had many events that were community events and community members coming in. You had the opportunity, we had a fantastic musical at the high school last week, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. I think it was packed houses for all their performances.
It was so good.
Yeah.
The singing and dancing was just amazing for high school.
Yeah. And then the middle school had their annual Veterans Day Assembly, which we had a good crowd at and was well received again. And then this week, McEwen and HES are full every day at lunch with their fall feasts.
Yeah.
So they're packed. And the food service is very busy this week with both of those schools having every single day a fall feast somewhere. And as a reminder, another huge event for us is Monday night, and it's the Senior Citizens Banquet. It starts at 6 o'clock at the high school. So make sure to spread the word about that as well.
Thank you.
That's it.
Item 6C, strategic plan update.
Absolutely. All right, so since the approval of our CSIP, we've identified 7 CSIP areas that we're going to start kind of jumping in on and that we're really gearing up to start making a positive impact on. Those 7 areas we'll go in depth on December 16th at our board retreat. But just to let you guys know, the update is that we've identified the areas and that we're actively planning on what we're doing. And actually, in some instances, we've already kind of started. So, any questions?
Thanks. Item 6D, finance update.
Okay, as of the end of October, 33% of our fiscal year is complete, but revenues are at 17% of the budget, and are steady, and remain steady compared to last year at this time. We did receive our new transportation, funding calculation. This year it's $1,029,000, which is an increase of about $89,000. Still doesn't cover our full transportation costs, but just as a comparison, last year we spent 1.7 million on transportation costs that did not include fuel. So it's a very very expensive line item on our budget there. So, but it's better than it was a couple of years ago, so we're moving in the right direction. On the expenditure side of things, we're at 24% of budget, and also comparable to last year at this time. Fund balance percentage, 36% compared to 28% last year. And our cash and investments are at 17.3 million. We did receive our S&P rating for bond issues, and again, we remained at the AA+ rating, which is good. And just as a FYI, our bond sale was postponed. It was supposed to be last week. I shouldn't say bond sale, bond.
Refinancing.
The, where they set the
Pricing.
was postponed. They felt there was too much market volatility at this time, so they will reschedule that later. And then they did note that with the interest rates overall coming down, originally they had estimated we'd save about 2.6 million in interest on that refunding, and now it's down to 2.5. So they don't want to wait too long to move forward with that, but they just need to wait till things settle down a little bit.
Do you think we'll have it before next meeting next month?
Yeah, they have until
Yes.
December 10th to get
I would
that.
say before the end of the
Yeah,
month.
they'll probably have it in the next week or so. The main thing was another bonding district went out with some bonding and was throwing out some not reasonable rates, and so it kind of threw everything off, and everybody was looking at that, and they didn't want that to be the second thing that people were looking at. So it's not anything wrong, they just didn't want to go out at the same time another district that was throwing out a lot more bond refinancing. They didn't want to get in competition with that, so that's why they just held back a little bit. So nothing wrong, just holding back to make sure that we're the only thing in that market when they do the refinancing.
Seeing none, we move forward. Item 6E, donations to the district. It's an action item.
I'll move to accept the donations to the district as listed.
Second.
Any discussion? As always, we appreciate the support and donation to the community. They step up every time.
Yes.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion passes. Item 6F, school board candidate filing timeline.
The election of school board members is held on the first Tuesday after the first Monday of April, which for this coming year will be April 8th, 2025. Qualified applicants can file during business hours here in our office beginning on the 17th Tuesday prior until the 14th Tuesday prior to the election. And for this election, that translates to Tuesday, December 10th at 8 a.m. and it'll close on December 31st at 5 p.m. Yes, that is how we will be spending our New Year's Eve. In between, candidates can file by appointment by contacting me. We have 2 3-year positions open, and those are Emily Stone and Jenny Wagner's positions.
Thank you. Item 6G, revised board policy C110-P. Entertain a motion.
Motion to approve the revisions of board policy C110P as presented.
Second.
Any discussion? This is incorporation of the new mission statement into the policy. Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion passes. Item 6H, 2025-26 school calendar. It's an action item.
I move to approve the 2025-26 school calendar as presented.
Second.
Have a motion and second.
Is this
Questions?
basically the same calendar that we had this year?
It is. It is. Keeping everything with the calendar committee recommended, not trying to add extra days in order to hit the 169 for this time. And really like to look a couple years out with our calendars, but with the uncertainty of the legislature, we're just gonna go one at a time and go from there.
I think, I mean, we're almost 3 months in advance of when we had it, I think, last year. So I think
Yeah.
even if we can have it before the end of the calendar year, that helps a lot of
Yeah, it's
parents.
really
And
important for
it-
parents,
it
yeah.
really is helpful, so
Yeah.
thank you for doing that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion passes. 6I, 2024-25 ridership count. This is an action item.
I move to approve the ridership counts for the 2024-25 school year as presented.
Second.
Motion second, discussion. Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion passes. Item 6J, hazardous zones. This is an action item as well.
I move to approve to transport the 281 students who have to cross hazardous zones as presented.
Second.
Motion second, questions, discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion passes. Item 6K, increase in substitute teacher pay. This is an action item.
I move to approve the revised 2024-25 substitute teacher salary schedule as presented, effective January 1st of 2025.
Second.
Motion second, discussion, questions? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion passes. 6L, revision to other hourly pay rates. This is an action item as well.
I'll move to approve the revised other hourly pay rates as presented effective January 1, 2025.
Second.
Have a motion and second. Any questions or discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion passes. Item 6M, additional positions. This is an action item.
I move to approve the addition of 2 preschool positions to the Early Childhood Center beginning with the 2025-26 school year.
Second.
Motion and second. Any questions or discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion passes. Item 6N, establish date and time for personnel performance review. This is an action item.
Move to establish December 17, 2024 at 6 p.m. prior to regular board meeting for the personnel performance review.
Second.
Have a motion and second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion passes. Item 6O, assessment and evaluation of district programs. This is an information item.
Yep, so this month is our special education program evaluation form, so I updated all the information in there. Were there, anybody have questions?
I just had a question, I think it was the very last thing, under changes made. Change from director and assistant director, what does that mean?
That was, so this is changes made from the follow-up from 2 years ago. So where I was like special education director, now assistant superintendent, and we added Debbie Benner, who is the assistant director.
Other questions? Hearing none, it's an information item, we're done. Chair would entertain a motion to adjourn.
Ready to adjourn the meeting.
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, we stand adjourned.